The social media that we know today didn't always look or feel this way. The affiliate links attached to every product recommendation, the contrived videos about someone's day in the life, and deliberation that goes into how you show up online that we're all considering whether we believe it or not. Once upon a time, social media was a lot lighter. It was less curated, therefore more organic, and far less self-aware. And for many people, it still is, but there's been an undeniable shift that pervades every scroll and use of social media platforms today. Somewhere along the way, content went from being a medium to share who you are and what you're doing to being a pathway to monetization, and it's killed so many elements of the social media experience. I've been using social media since MySpace days, back when people would spend hours coding their page, meticulously curating their top 8, and thinking about the song that they wanted to autoplay when someone visited their profile as though their entire reputation depended on it. So I'd like to think I have a deep understanding of how the landscape has transformed over the years. That said, in this video, I want to break down how we got here and what monetization has done to social media content, culture, and the way we show up online. Oh, and just to be clear before I get into this isn't a takedown of content creation and content creators at all. I think it's real work. I work in content creation, and most people are doing exactly what the platforms and incentives reward. This is just about the system we're all posting inside of and how it's changed the culture around posting content online. So as we begin, let's take it back a few years to the early days of social media. YouTube is really the birthplace of the internet personality. Since it predated Instagram, Tumblr, TikTok, and even Twitter, YouTube was one of the first social media platforms where someone could really grow a following around themselves. And because YouTube content is long form by nature, the content that typically thrives on it is personality driven and value focused, especially during the early days of YouTube in the mid to later 2000s when the platform was really starting to kick off. Also, social media culture and language in the early YouTube era was still very new. So people didn't grow a following by participating in trends or having these really sophisticated equipment to shoot and edit content with. Most people's phones of choice weren't even iPhones at the time, they were Blackberries. So in order to get the views and the following that comes with it, you kind of had to be compelling enough to both get and keep people watching, because your video quality and your editing could only do so much of the lifting. A really good example of this is Trisha Paytas, aka Blonde Sundoll for MJ, who started her career as an internet personality in 2007 by posting videos of her rapping, attempting to be the world's fastest talker, sharing her raw experiences with heartbreak, and so much more. Before she became the widely known internet persona we recognize her as today, she was an early era YouTuber sharing extremely personal and personality driven content with no clear formula or goal to her content flow. She was just posting for the fun of it. Then fast forward a few years later, once Instagram came around and started to become a staple in 2012 and onward, it ushered in the vibes and curation era of social media that was focused on aesthetics, lifestyle, consumption, and everything that had to do with what your life looks like. This was also around the time iPhone sales started to really accelerate, which meant people now had a device that could shoot decent quality video and photos whenever, wherever, and only amplified this showy use of Instagram even more. It's exactly why Kylie Jenner's King Kylie era thrived and why blogger and fashion designer Amy Song grew her career in this era as well. They both used Instagram as a curated window into their aspirational lifestyles. And so in doing so, Instagram showcased that someone's visibility, their taste, and presentation were just as valuable, if not more, than someone's personality, which opened up a new growth approach for people posting online that differed from the YouTube one. Now, once we're a few years into Instagram being a staple platform existing simultaneously with other social media platforms like YouTube, monetization was obviously the natural outcome of reaching a certain engagement and follower number milestone, because having a large audience is advertising real estate for businesses. YouTubers were profiting off of the AdSense program, and both YouTubers and Instagram influencers were profiting off of brand deals and affiliate links, to the extent that the money that came in from content creation was enough to be a full-time gig for a lot of people. However, there was still a level of separation, or at least perceived separation, between content and content monetization. Like, all the partnerships and affiliate links just felt like an occasional addition to the things that content creators were posting. It didn't feel like the entire point. But then TikTok entered the equation in 2020, and our relationship to social media and content monetization specifically completely changed. Now, as we established, TikTok didn't invent content monetization. It was already a thing well before it became such a staple platform, but it absolutely amplified all of the content and monetization extremes that YouTube and Instagram had previously set in motion. Because where YouTube rewarded personality and Instagram rewarded aesthetics and curation, TikTok rewarded all of those things while simultaneously lowering the barriers of entry into content creation even further, because on TikTok, you now have trends and audios that essentially serve as like templates and make it possible for anyone to post and grow very quickly if they caught the right wave. And we also got to remember that all of this started to come into play during the pandemic, when everyone was home reevaluating their lives and career paths while simultaneously watching their contemporaries blow up and have their lives changed by the platform and social media in general. I mean, think about all the people who have become famous just from posting on TikTok or any other social media platform. And then that all being exacerbated by the fact that society as a whole is also experiencing a broader shift towards flexible work. So at this point, content creation goes from feeling like a hobby or something, that you do in passing, to feeling like a legitimate career pathway that comes with clout, popularity, and high earnings. Content creation is no longer something you do on social media, but something you could become and something you could monetize because of it. And this is the moment where social media stopped being about expression and being social and started being about using it as a sole means of extracting monetary value. And once money became the outcome, it replaced the expression as the sole reason why people post. With this shorter distance between posting and profit, monetization has kind of changed why people post, and it's created a problem with social media that's actually kind of hiding in plain sight. Right now, monetization is built into the social media content creator experience. You have the creator funds, then you have the brand deals and the affiliate links that we mentioned. And now there's also courses and subscriptions and digital products. With brand partnerships specifically, there's an added requirement to the following and reach and engagement numbers that you obviously need to have in order for brands to want to work with you. And that's brand safety. In order for a brand to be able to work with a creator, they have to be sure that the creator obviously isn't offensive, which makes sense because when a brand does partner with a creator, they're kind of co-signing them, but that's just the bare minimum. And I know this because I have clients that I work on brand partnership content with, because brand safety, especially in actual sponsored content, also means a level of predictability and familiarity that's easy to place a logo or a brand hashtag next to. So naturally, a lot of creators start to create and optimize their content to mirror what's working for everyone else. Proven hooks, proven formats, pacing, proven tones. And as a result, everything starts to look and feel very similar, because while originality isn't exactly punished, it's just not as rewarded. Now, when I say everything looks the same, I don't literally mean everything, but a lot of what we see online, I'm not gonna lie, does look insanely similar. You have your soft lifestyle slash wellness aesthetic with the matcha and the Pilates and the journals and the muted colors, and the hook driven financial slash business creators with the jump cuts and the one word subtitles and the layered sound and visual effects. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I feel like we've gotten to this point because in the current social media system, being a content creator has become more of the identity than it is the method of expression used to convey what you're good at. And this isn't true for every creator, of course, but it's true enough to kind of shape the dominant culture we all scroll through, especially when it comes to people who are aspiring to be creators. And it makes sense because, you know, being a content creator is a job, but nowadays it feels like the job has kind of replaced the point of the content because the ultimate goal is the growth and the visibility and the monetization that comes with it. I see this play out even on my own channel. Like, I don't have a big audience and people can see that. So I get emails from time to time from people offering their services to optimize my thumbnails and videos. And they'll include these like really gimmicky examples that are clearly designed to chase clicks and algorithmic performance over the substance of what's actually being said. And the thing is, I already know how to do these things. I am a social media manager, so, you know, I do this for a living. I just choose not to because it's not how I want to express myself online. And it's also not the relationship or the view I want to build with the people who find my content, because I truly see social media as so much more than the machine that it is. And I don't want to feed the system I'm quite literally critiquing in this video, even if the trade-off is having like a tighter knit community. And that's the tension we're seeing on social media right now. It's to the point where our feeds are now full of content that's really meta because it's content about the journey to becoming a content creator, or content about being a content creator, or content about teaching other people how to be content creators. And it's just like this endless advice loop with no real anchor. Like, it's just content that's self-referential. And it's because of this that I think we've shifted from once posting for connection to posting for conversion. And posting with the purpose of monetization, which kind of ruins the soul of social media, and also the allure and kind of the sacredness of real life too, in a way, because that makes some of life's moments looked at as content assets and life's very real vulnerabilities looked at as content strategies. And actual authenticity kind of becomes more about optimizing a content rollout than it is about actually being real. But also, I fully acknowledge and understand and believe that for so many, it's also a very real way of documenting your journey and owning who you are and being real about the seasons of your life and finding real community. Like, some of the bestest friends I've made in life, I initially connected with online. So I'm not saying that there isn't, you know, any real value in it. I just feel like with all things in life, you have your pros and you have your cons. Now, I want to be really clear about something before I wrap this up, and it's that none of this is happening because creators aren't creative enough. I actually think it's quite the contrary. I think content creators are extremely creative, nor do I think content creators are doing anything wrong. You know, wanting to monetize your work, especially if it's getting a ton of eyes on it, isn't bad, and content creation, again, is a very real and valuable job, and it opens doors that didn't exist before. I just think the issue is the system that content creators have to operate within because, like I said earlier, platforms and brands reward what's safe and repeatable and familiar, and so in order for creators to stay alive in this space, they have to adapt to that. Because when growth and income are tied to a level of sameness, it's hard to feel encouraged to be original over being optimized. And honestly, even us as viewers play a role in this, although subconsciously, because we've also been conditioned to look at certain content editing styles and hooks and pacing as engagement worthy or good, which only feeds those same formats back to us. It's basically a feedback loop. And once you see it, it's really hard to unsee. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. My name is Crystal, and I'm a freelance social media specialist covering all things social, so culture, news, and 101s. If that's something that you're interested in, hit the subscribe button because there's more to come. Till next time.